This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
There we go. You got an Expos hat and a Blue Jays sweater.
How about that, huh?
How about that? But aren't you like a trader now, or is it because since the other Canadian team doesn't exist, I can jump over to the other Canadian team? Is that the law for the Canadians?
Of course, but it was always even when the Expos were in existence, it was always 1A and 1B, like
because AL and NL.
Correct.
Right.
There you go.
Okay. That makes sense. Can't argue with that. You know. That's it. Are they? I heard something about them modernizing the stadium finally, because that stadium was ahead of its time already for many years. But I heard that they were going to do some stuff about modernizing it or something like that, upgrading it.
You're talking about Rogers Place or Rogers Center, whatever it's called. I believe I read something about that, but I certainly wouldn't swear to it.
Yeah. For those of you, by the way, that don't know, they have a hotel that overlooks the ball field and all that. I mean, that stadium was ahead of its time because it has a mall and everything, right?
Don't know. I
think it has like some kind of a mall connected to it. Like they were ahead, bro. They created the multi-purpose dome before anybody else did. And that was really, really smart on their part. And by the way, there is a story. Remember there was a couple having sex, right? With the window open.
Yeah.
So that too happened there in Toronto. So interesting stuff that has developed there. Now you know why he's a Toronto fan now, because fans have sex in the hotels with the windows open.
Back-to-back World Series titles in 92 and 93, which should have been followed by the Expos in 94, but that's another story.
We were, bro, that Expos Yankee series, it could have been one of the best World Series of all time.
Yep.
Because both those teams were loaded. I think the Spos would have won because the Spos, like that team, like fed like 6 teams in the majors.
Well, no, they were stacked.
They were stacked, dude. Dombrowski did an amazing job with those Expos. He's the best GM, right, of our generation.
Yeah, if he's not, he's up there. I mean, and at different stops too. It's not by accident where he goes, success follows.
No, he would have. I think he would have won one with the Expos. Now the problem is, if things go the way planned, maybe we never get Dombrowski here.
Correct. If they don't come back from the strike and basically have to liquidate everything, it's like, get rid of any player who makes any kind of money, and good luck competing.
Can you imagine if they would have gotten an owner and kept Dombrowski and kept that team and all that? We would have never seen Dombrowski here or anything like that. So, that dude's amazing. I don't care what anybody tells me. What he's done everywhere he goes, they make an impact. Everywhere they go, they're a contender. That guy is absolutely something. All right. It couldn't get any worse yesterday for Tua. It couldn't get any worse for McDaniel, I think. I think there obviously we could talk about the Mostert fumble. We could talk about not challenging that play, that somebody up there is in charge of that stuff and somebody screwed up. There's all these other little things that we can talk about that went on in the game that contributed to what went on. But to me, the bigger indictments fall on the quarterback and the head coach. Your thoughts?
Well, you turn the ball over 4 times, and you can nitpick everything else that goes on in the game, and that's a losing proposition. And no, the problem with the Dolphins is what was so good about them is what's gotten them in trouble. Is they've made a killing with the passing game and the big plays with Waddle and Hill. And not only over the top, but the 20 yards over the middle that was open for most of the season. And all of a sudden now it's not open. And sometimes you have to accept that it's not there, and then you can't be forcing throws. And look, here's the thing though about the 3 turnovers in the fourth quarter. The one to Mostert, if he's running the run right, it's very clearly that Tua throws 5 yards behind him, and Mostert never turns around. So it's very clearly a mix-up there.
You read it wrong. Yeah.
Right. The one at the end of the game, is he throwing that pass if they're not in a 2-minute drill where they need a touchdown to basically to not lose a game? I don't know. I don't think so. So the only one to me that was really egregious and totally on Tua is the one to Hill where he's got no business trying to drop it in between. There's
And
four
he's
guys.
done it several times that he's more than covered. And it's like, dude, bro, do the math. If there's 3-4 guys around him, then there's a whole bunch of other guys open. Come on. Like,
He's not
why are you forcing it? I don't understand that. It's like watching McDaniel go away from the run game. These are things I can't explain. It's the weirdest thing, dude.
No, and there are times when he doesn't see things. There was one sack, which was a coverage sack, and then there's a replay that's shown from behind the offensive backfield, and there's Tyreek Hill running across. Maybe he's like 3 yards beyond the line of scrimmage, but he's still – there's nobody around him. Why are you just not dumping the ball to him instead of hanging big? Obviously because he didn't see him, but it's like these are things that you have to see, and that's when we talk about off-script, off-schedule types of things, this is part of what we're talking about. It's not just like scrambling for 15 yards when there's no play there. That's part of it. But no, this was – and it was the thing that's really disappointing. It's a major step back from what we saw in Buffalo where they lost.
Well,
now they lost, and it's like, oh, Jesus. Now it's like, are we so sure they're going to beat either the Patriots or the Jets after what we saw yesterday?
No, I get it. No, it's hard to have any confidence in them right now going into these last 2 games. Even if he is 4-0 against, Belichick, again, you should win, but we've said that a couple times already here, and you don't win the games you're supposed to win, and this is the biggest month of the year, and you're not coming through. I mean, 4 losses in December.
Yep.
I got to tell you, and I look at McDaniel too, and I got to say, you got to do a better job of managing the game too, and some of these decisions. And listen, your quarterback keeps throwing to Hill with 3-4 guys around him. How have you not talked his ass out of this after every week that it happens? I'd like to see McDaniel do a little bit more too, because I think for me, this is an indictment on him on what's gone on, because last 4 weeks, I blame Tua 3 out of the 4 weeks. Last week, it's not on Tua. Last week actually was more on McDaniel, because I thought those look, he did it again this week. You're averaging 9 yards a carry, 3rd and 3, boom, you pass. Like, dude, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing? My God, later on the 4th and 1, at least he ran. But Jesus
and he gained 9
Christ.
yards. The one, it was a 3rd and 3, and I think, I mean, it's very obvious. I mean, I'm not making a very major point that's very revealing. It's very, very obvious that he has way more confidence in the passing game than he does the running game. Even though right now the running game's performing as well, if not better, in the passing game. And I didn't see anything egregious in terms of the play calling. The 3rd and 3, it's not so much that it was a pass play called. It was that it's a shot over the top to Hill. And which one of those where if it's a 50-yard touchdown, we'd all be sitting here saying what a great call. But it wasn't. He wasn't that covered. There was a little bit of contact. They didn't call it, which is fine. If you notice, they let the DBs. It was weird because the officiating yesterday was really, really tight at the line of scrimmage with the holes and everything, and it was really loose in the back end where they let the DBs get very handsy.
Cater got away with one.
Correct. No, it was weird because it was, like I said, they could do anything in the secondary, but in the front line. Like Robert Hunt got called for holding where, he had his hand like this, but not for very long, and it didn't really impede the guy's progress.
I think it was because of the angle, the way he was holding the guy. That's where
this rule was bad.
Right.
This rule was bad, but if you look at the replay, there's not really impeding his progress very much. So
right. But the looks of it is what
correct
flag. It's like when the DB doesn't turn around for the ball and he's running into the receiver. It doesn't matter, bro. You're getting that flag every single time, and they don't give a shit. Doesn't matter. Matter.
There was one yesterday. Keon Crossan did exactly that. He never.
No. Yes, I'm saying in general around the
Okay.
league. Normally throughout the years, you got your back turned. Yesterday, you're right. They let the DBs play. Like I said, Cater got away with one that he should have been called for. Because he's a physical corner. He gets into it. And by the way, congratulations to him on getting that interception. That was a big interception, man.
Oh, did you see he got that signed by Aaron Rodgers? He put Merry Christmas.
Yeah, that was cool.
I won. Yeah, of course, Rodgers did that after a win. I wonder what he would have written had the Dolphins won the game.
Yeah, maybe Cater doesn't go to him if it's a loss.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, maybe, or he waits for the off season or something, or he probably, because you gotta understand the situation and knowing Cater, because he is just so like well put together.
Yeah,
like
he's smart.
God, you know what I mean? He's got awareness. So,
but here's another factor though, Big O. Rodgers has a bigger world view than just football. I think
Amen.
Even in the loss, Rodgers I think would have been cool enough to do it, whereas Tom Brady would have been like, "Fuck you, kid, get out of my face,"
Right, yeah. Rodgers was very complimentary of Tua this week. I just wish he would have lived up to the compliments. Yes.
Well,
doggy.
Again, if I put a microphone in front of you, and what are your thoughts about Tua as a player from the other team? We are expecting anything other than roses? Come on.
Yeah, but he kind of he went a little deeper, like talking about how he's handled the adversity and those kind of things. So he didn't have to go that far. And I think he talked about something that's really important, actually. So I thought that was actually cool that he didn't just talk about his play. He also talked about his professionalism, which is, by the way, not something that he really has all the time, by the way. Rodgers is not necessarily the most professional guy at times, but Tua has been. I will say that, overall. By the way, you're not falling for the banana in the tailpipe, right? Because I get these people on the DMs. Okay, so Tua forgot to send in the right play to Mostert. No, dude, he's trying to lay on the sword for Mostert instead of, okay, so you buy. And then the other one was, well, we're not going to take this home. We're going to enjoy with our family. He's trying, because he's the wholesome dude, bro. He's going to be pissed off all night. Don't kid yourselves. Okay? He may not go kick his dog and slap his wife or something, but he's going to be mad at home. Don't think that he's going home and it's, hey, let's all have a great Merry Christmas and all that. No, bull crap. He's going to be pretty pissed off the rest of the night. I think it was just one of those general things to like kind of send the message to people. Even if you have a bad day, don't take it out on the people you love, that kind of stuff. Right?
Yeah. I didn't read a whole lot into that either. And not only Mostert and McDaniel said the receiver ran the wrong route on one of the picks. And looking at
Mostert laid on the sword. He was like, no, it was on me.
Correct.
He said it. Yeah. But I don't think a lot of people saw all the clips or read all the quotes.
No, correct.
And that's probably, and they just went off what they saw and that's it. Like I have one guy, Steve, that is like convinced that he thinks Tua would have screwed up that play anyways. And no, dude, it's, and by the way, this is the offense too complicated, Alan? Because everybody has run a wrong route. Everybody's made some kind of a mental mistake throughout the last few weeks. Different players at different times are making mistakes. Is Mike McDaniel running an offense that might be a little too complicated? It's everybody, bro. Everybody.
Would we be? We weren't asking this question.
Wilson, you name it. Everybody.
We weren't asking this question when they were 8-3. That's why I'm not. Look, they're not performing. They're not as sharp. It's an offense that relies an awful lot on precision, quick decisions, timing. And when that's not there, whether it's by the offensive players not being totally sharp or whether it's by the defense disrupting the timing, you can have issues. When it's clicking and everything's going right, it's pretty dangerous when you can have a Waddle take like a 5-yard or 6-yard crosser and go 84 yards because nobody can keep up with him. Except for Tyreek Hill, who's downfield, lead blocking for him. So, yeah, I hear what you're saying. But let's also not forget that for many years that people were talking about how complicated Bill Belichick's defense was, and it was leading to championships. So would you rather have like a very, and for correct me if I'm wrong, but for a couple of years now we've been complaining about how simplistic, basic, and lame the offense was.
No,
so
I know.
I'd hate to go from one extreme to now complaining that it's too complicated. They just need to get their shit together, basically, is what it boils down to.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt. I'm just wondering if you're putting too much on their plate from week to week, and because there's constant mistakes from everybody, and that's not a good sign. If it was one guy screwing up constantly, then we kind of know, okay, well, that dude's kind of a screw up. He didn't really study his playbook that well, and he's, kind of lazy or whatever. But when I see it's Tyreek, here, it's Waddle here, it's Jeff Wilson here, it's Mostert there, it's all those kind of things. You just kind of wonder, hey, because it's been happening a lot lately, and that's where, you're also concerned. Now, here's the other thing. While he tells you one thing, and we know what the offense is, and we know he doesn't fit the offense, has he still failed as a playmaker and as an offensive coordinator to find a way to use Gesicki more? Because you saw him yesterday. He made a play for you. And I know he's not a blocker, but I'm so tired of that, because I always got tired of that with Omar, because Omar made it sound like everybody blocks and everybody's a two-way tight end. And in fact, that's actually a very rare thing to find, is a two-way tight end that's an impact playmaker. That's really hard to find. What's easier to find is a whole bunch of playmaking tight ends that don't block for shit. That's just kind of the way it is. Has he failed in his own way to not find a role for him, a consistent role, and by the way, a bigger target, an easier target for any quarterback, not just Tua?
Yeah, the only place where I would say where you absolutely have to make use of Gesicki is red zone and goal line, and they've had pretty good success as far as that concerned, unless my memory fails me. And it's very possible that there are two issues there. I think Mike McDaniel looks at Gesicki and goes, "Yeah, he's not a tight end. That's a tall wide receiver." And I have my wide receivers, Hill, Waddle, and I like and trust Trent Sherfield as a third guy more than I like Gesicki. That's number one. And then the other issue, and this would require like a massive breakdown film study for several hours or weeks or days. Is it possible that Gesicki needs the kind of spacing in areas where Hill and Waddle are taking care of that? Because here's the thing again, the Dolphins tagged Gesicki before they were ever aware that there was a possibility they could end up with Tyreek Hill.
And sign Cedric.
Except Cedric's not playing at all. I'm
just saying that both those guys were, made decisions before you could even acquire Tyreek, which would have changed everything.
Correct. That's fair. And I think once they got Tyreek, I think McDaniel's vision for the offense completely changed. And it was like basically scrapped everything he had written down. And in his new vision, there's not a role for a 6'6" tight end who's basically a tall wide receiver. So, no, I mean, it's bad optics, and it's weird for a guy you're paying almost $11 million. I mean, he's played 12 snaps the last two games. And I mean, that's crazy. But no, he's not a fit. And if you start featuring him, are you taking away from Hill and Waddle, who basically are the two guys who make this offense run?
No, I know, but I think what we've proven, or what's been proven, is that, yeah, Hill and Waddle are amazing. We all know that. But you got to add other elements to the offense. It can't be an overbalance of Hill and Waddle, because that's also what's getting you in trouble too. And let's be quite honest. So you're forcing the ball to Tyreek at times when he's got multiple guys covering him. And let's be honest, you give Waddle a lot of balls, but you also will get a brain fart or two along the way with those. So spread the love a little bit. Sherfield came in focused this week after that drop. He made the catches that you sent to him on third down, both of them.
Catches, yep.
Exactly. So keep using Trent Sherfield.
Right.
Use the backs out of the backfield. Mix it up a little bit more. You've got other weapons. I get you've got two amazing, twin turbo Porsches out there that can just fly. But because you have those twin turbos, you also will be opening it up for other people. And I'm just saying it's just, and the running game, dude, when it's working, what are you doing? What the hell are you doing, bro? Keep using the running game. Keep the opposing quarterback like Josh Allen and Aaron Rodgers off the field, bro. You don't do that by a 70-yard touchdown, but if you get a 9-play drive or a 7-play drive that you're gouging them for 7 or 9 yards, you're keeping them off the field for a longer time, and they have less opportunities to get back into the game. I mean, there are ways that he can spread it out, and it's there for him for the taking. He's got to be able to do it, him and Tua.
No, I don't disagree with you, but Sherfield's made a lot of good like third down catches throughout the season. He had 2 yesterday.
I like him.
Yeah, no, I like him too. They don't throw a lot to the backs. It could be something they can do. I it's weird as I look at the game yesterday, and again, it's 4 straight games now. They're getting outsnapped their offense by a lot. And if you look at yesterday, it's not because the defense sucked. I mean, Green Bay was 2 for 14 on third down. So the defense did some good things. The Dolphins are not converting well on third down.
Once again, the defense kept you in the game like they've done all effing year. They do enough. They keep you in the game. You're in with 1 score. You got your high-powered offense. Score the goddamn points, dude. You know? Whatever.
No, I mean, dude, you had the ball literally 28-yard line, no timeouts, which isn't ideal, but it was like a minute 55 left, 72 yards go win the game. And yeah,
no excuses.
That didn't come close. And even the first, the pick came on the second down, and on the first down, Tua can't find anybody, and he throws a dump off pass to Jeff Wilson for 3 yards, who gets tackled in bounds. And that's like, and I understand, like in the heat of the moment, you're trying to make something happen, but this is one of those, okay, I can't see anybody open. Don't check it down. Correct. Because the amount of seconds you're going to lose to gain 3 yards is ridiculous.
Now, here's where and this came from our conversation, our fantasy football conversation with Andy Behrens, and we're talking a little football, and we mixed it in. Here's where we can't get carried away, and I know it's going to happen because plenty of people didn't believe in Tua, so they're already off the bandwagon. They were never really on or whatever. The kid's played at a high level, higher than any quarterback you've ever had since Marino. Now he's had some really bad moments, too, at the same time. But let's understand, this is the first year under this offense with Mike McDaniel. And I'm looking at Dak Prescott. And Dak Prescott has been at this for, 5-6 years now? And he hasn't had those moments that everybody's been waiting for. Maybe this weekend against the Eagles, this was his watershed moment where he kind of, moves over to that level. And we'll see if the Cowboys can finish it off and all that. But my point is, it's still a process here. He's still a young quarterback. So to expect him to be the finished product, to hit all the right guys, make all the right decisions, be clutch in every moment at this point in time, maybe it's a little too much to ask, in this first year with this coach. Maybe we got to give them another year to see McDaniel come back and improve himself, Tua come back and improve himself. But it's kind of crazy to make an end-all, be-all determination after 1 year with these two guys together. That's just me.
Correct, but that applies both ways. So to me, it applies. It's perfectly fine to bring him back for next year, and I certainly would not give him a long-term extension.
No, he ruined that already. He ruined it already.
Right. So
he gave you the green light. Now, Lee Steinberg now has to sit down, put tape on his mouth, and shut the hell up now. He can't approach them for anything. If he would have finished the season the way he started, you would have no effing choice but to agree to a deal that starts right after year 4. Now, his new contract will start after year 5 because of how he finished this season. He ruined it for himself, actually. That was big yesterday. This last month actually was enormous for his near future.
Correct.
He ruined his near future right now.
Correct, because I'm perfectly happy with saying that there is no clear, definitive.
You can't. Oh yeah.
Answer at this moment. But that applies as well to those who were ready to anoint him a month ago when the Dolphins were 8-3, and I'm hearing correct. It's like, and I I think I did it, at least in my mind. I was like, okay, can we just gather all the data through the entire season? Let's revisit this after the season's over and then have a clearer picture.
Yeah, I was wrong. I thought he had crossed the threshold already and ready to go, but I'm wrong. But I'm not ready to give up on the kid. Please. I need another year, and then we'll figure things out. Now, listen, redemption can only come one way, Alan.
Correct.
And it's not winning these 2 games. It's actually winning a playoff game. That's really the only redemption that's left, because winning 9 or 10 is exactly what the last coach did. And they gave you all the offensive things you needed. So you were supposed to win, in my eyes, you were supposed to win 11 or 12. So now you have failed in doing that, because this was your last chance to do that. If you win these last 3 and you win 11, I'm good. Now, okay, McDaniel did better than the last coach. Now you got all the stuff you need on offense, and you couldn't do any better. And as I've said all year, the defense has not cost you any games. They have kept you in every single game. And you had a chance to win all the games with your offense. You were within 1 score, and you never got over the hump and all those things. So now we got to, see how this whole thing finishes. But I think you got to kind of give them, another year to kind of figure this thing out. And then we can make a real determination on, does McDaniel learn? Did Tua get better? Did he make that progress? And those kind of things, because what Tua's going to play for next year is to get tagged, not to get contracted.
Well, what he'd like is to get the long term.
He would have to have a lights out year. You know what I mean? But the only redemption now is this year. You got to win a playoff game. That's the only way that you watch the season.
And the other factor in the whole quarterback equation is, this is speaking for those who want to move on, is there going to be a better upgrade? If there's a clear upgrade, you make the move. Is there going to be a clear upgrade next offseason?
No.
I don't think so. I don't see it out there. So that's
no. And don't make it. The problem with those people is they make it sound like it's been easy for 25 years to go find a quarterback. And so
they had the problem is they had a couple of shots, and they keep at every turn when there's been a fork where they could get the guy or they could go the wrong way. It's gone the wrong way. Let's be honest here.
And let's be honest. We only got Marino because of luck.
Correct. Oh, correct.
You know what I mean? That's the funny part. Only one of the 5 guys picked before him, or 4 guys, right? Right. 4 guys picked before him was a Hall of Famer, was amazing, was Kelly. The rest of the guys, you could have ended up with O'Brien and Blackledge, and what was the other one? O'Brien, Blackledge,
Kelly, Tony Eason. It was 5 before him. We know it was 5. Yeah. Elway, Kelly, Eason, Blackledge.
That's right. Elway and Kelly were the Hall of Famers. Right. The other 3, you could have ended up with the other 3, dude. And so Miami got lucky that Marino had a shit year his senior year, because he threw 19, 23 interceptions or something. And there were rumors that he was a party guy and all that kind of stuff. And so he falls by luck to Miami, and the rest is history. So it's interesting how you get the weird karma that for years you're trying and you can't, dumb luck is what the reason why you landed it last time. You know what I'm saying? This time you're trying, and it's been a mission. So I would stick with this kid another year, because, you look at other quarterbacks, others took a while, whether it's Breeze, maybe Dak Prescott now has turned that corner, all those kind of things. Sometimes
I'm not.
No, but he did play well this week. He played.
But he's not easy.
You can win a Super Bowl with him.
And the other problem too is in the AFC. To me, I look at 5 guys who are clearly franchise guys: Josh Allen, Burrow, Mahomes, Justin Herbert, and yes, Trevor Lawrence. And that's what you're going to have to deal with that for the next 7-8 years. It'd be nice to have that kind of guys. And if it ends up that Tua is that guy, great. But you need that kind of guy to be able to compete.
Yeah,
on
Amen.
a year in year out basis.
All right, what do you got going on? Oh, by the way, they fired Nathaniel Hackett, which was
Why?
the NFL. Why? Because
Why?
he's Cam Cameron of the West Coast.
Ay,
It says,
Jesus.
on behalf of our ownership and organization, I want to thank Nathaniel Hackett for his dedication as a head coach of the Broncos. We sincerely appreciate Nathaniel's efforts and wish him and his family all the best in the future, since they're taking a lot of money with them that is guaranteed. I'm sorry, I added that part.
I think
Following
you
extensive
ad-libbed a little.
conversations with George and our ownership group, we've determined a new direction would ultimately be in the best interest of the Broncos. This change was made now out of respect for everyone involved, and it allows us to immediately begin the search for a new head coach. We recognize and appreciate the organization's championship history, and we understand we have not met that standard. Our fans deserve much better, and I can't say enough about their loyalty during such a challenging stretch for our team. Moving forward, we will carefully evaluate every aspect of our football operations and make whatever changes are necessary to restore this franchise's winning tradition. I will lead our head coach search with support from our ownership group and George, whom I have confidence in, our general manager, George Patton, right? Our guy from here.
Yep.
Remember George? He was a good dude, bro. I haven't talked to George in a few years, but from what I remember when he was here in Miami, one of the good dudes in this business. As we begin the process of selecting our next head coach, we remain focused on playing competitive football to finish the season on a positive note, even if we have Russell Wilson. I'm sorry. That was me. I added that again.
And dude, who's going to take that job when they gave a load of picks to get Russell Wilson, and they're tied to him for, what is it, like 3 or 4 years because of his contract, and he's playing.
Well, I'm lying. I could see Sean Payton taking that job because he's got a defense, and he'll come in and say, yeah, I can work with him, but you're going to give Sean Payton a 10-year contract, right? And then he'll, after 1 year of, if he fails with them, he'll turn around and say, hey, I can't work with this guy. We got to move him out or whatever. But if you want me to get this thing going, we got, and then, it's the Walmarts. The Walmart owns the Broncos.
Right.
They will accommodate or something because there's only 32 of them. They're going to give you a 5 or a 10-year, guaranteed contract. That's why somebody's going to take the job, because there's a lot of guaranteed money in there. You know what I'm saying? And you got a pretty good defense.
That or somebody who gets a shot. But the thing with Sean Payton is all that's been reported about him is he wants to go someplace where it's warm, and Denver's a great.
No, you're right. You're right. He has, and by the way, now Arizona is going to be open probably because Kingsbury is probably gone. Although Sean Payton cannot work with that young man. That young man will not be able to handle.
He's tied to him. Huh? He's tied to him because they gave him.
I know, but what I'm saying is Kyler Murray is not wired to handle Sean Payton. Is what I'm saying.
No, I agree.
That shit that he did coming off the field to Kingsbury, Sean Payton. That's not going to fly with Sean Payton, dude. That will not fly whatsoever. I don't know. Those personalities will clash. Where else would he go? Carolina, dude. The awakening of Sam Darnold. You got a pretty good defense.
Not that cold, and Sam Darnold's not a good young QB. Come on now.
No, but what I'm saying is,
the Chargers job, which looked like ideal now. Dude's going to make the playoffs. So
he's going to make the playoffs. No, but the Carolina thing is good. It's not that cold in Carolina. But here's the thing. You're not tied long-term to Sam Darnold. You can actually use him still as a bridge and draft your young quarterback if you're Sean Payton. You don't they have a high pick? Do they?
I believe so.
They didn't trade away their pick, right? They may have the selection. I gotta look it up here. I can look it up. Give me a second here. I will give you this thing can move a little bit. Here we go. Let me see where we got. Where the hell is where's the order, damn it? Okay. Carolina's number 8, dude.
Okay.
In the draft right now.
That's not bad.
Carolina is not. Atlanta too is available. right? Did they? Oh no, Arthur Smith's not going to get fired. He'll be fine. He'll survive.
No, and
No,
here's the other thing though: is are the Saints going to make it painful for Carolina to hire him? Because remember, they have to get compensation.
Oh, that's right. They own his rights. You have to trade for him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, do the Saints really want to have to deal with him in the same division?
No, not only that, it's because you have the number 8 pick. They're going to want that number 8 pick, and then that's your quarterback. So he's going to go, no, dude, now that screws me that I can't get my future quarterback. So no, I'm not doing that. So that's going to be, I forgot about that. How does that work? I got to plead ignorance here. So if he had 3 years left, does he literally have to wait 3 years and on the 4th year? Or whenever he comes back 5 years later, because he didn't complete his contract with them, they still own his rights. How does that work out?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a very good question.
You know, like when you draft somebody, you own their rights for a year. Right. If he doesn't sign with you and he says, no, I'm going back in the draft next year, then you're going to have to redraft him in order to own his rights again. And obviously you're not going to do that. So it's just one of those things. I wonder how it goes with coaching because I don't know myself what that is.
Yeah, and it also depends. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they. Yeah, it's a good question. I'm going to plead ignorance as well.
By the way, the Bucks also may be available for him. So it's a couple teams in that division for New Orleans because, come on, bro. The cigar store mannequin is. Come on. He's a great defensive coordinator.
But hey, he's going to win the division. He's going to win a division title in his first year as head coach with the Bucks.
Yeah. All right. What do you got going on all Dolphins stuff?
Yeah. I was catching a little bit of those later 2 games yesterday. Woof. Yeesh. And I know they look good on paper when they did the schedule in May. Man, that's some tough watching there. Holy crap. Okay, on alldolphins.com today, I already did the snap count observations, including the aforementioned Mike Gesicki and his whole 12 full snaps. Yeesh.
12 million or 11 million? He's getting 11 million, right?
10.7.
So he got slightly more snaps than millions.
That's true. Good point. It's a pretty good ratio for money for snaps. I just finished doing the 5 biggest plays. We're going to be revisiting the storylines. Mike McDaniel's addressing them either later this afternoon, and we'll see what comes out of that.
Yeah, boy, you saw his demeanor. Whew, yesterday, he was. Yeah, that was a different Mike McDaniel. Now
he didn't see that one coming, I don't think.
Yeah. He even said it himself that he was a little surprised. And by the way, he's lost his 3 coworkers: Shanahan, LaFleur, and Salah. All 3 guys he worked with, he's 0 against his coworkers.
And it could come down, the Dolphins' playoff fate could come down to him getting
Salah.
even with Robert Salah. Yep.
That's right. Follow him on Twitter at Poupart NFL. And remember, you are not an official Miami Dolphins fan if you do not bookmark alldolphins.com. Think about it. It's alldolphins.com. You're a Dolphins fan. You love Dolphins. You talk Dolphins. You read Dolphins. There you go. Bookmark it. Alldolphins.com. Poupart will catch up later on in the week. Appreciate you.
Right back at you, bud.
Thank you, sir. There you go. Alain Poupart getting it done with our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins and NFL report.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.